Welcome back, everyone, to the Family Bathroom, episode 10. I am usually your host, Mr. Broku, aka Brody, but tonight we'll be doing things a little bit differently. As always, joining me, we have Mr. Crazy Still, Josh. Josh,
What's
what's
up?
going on tonight?
Not much. Just glad to be here. What about you, Brody?
I'm excited to see how this goes, as all our viewers out there, and if we have any audio listeners out there as well. There'll just be the three of us tonight. No fourth host. This will be a throwback to episode one, and we'll do this from time to time. Just the three of us, kicking it down, talking about some random stuff. And our third host, or the one who will be doing the main hosting tonight, Casey. How you doing tonight?
Really, really good. How are you doing, Brody?
Doing good. So me and Josh this week, at the end of last episode, we decided to let Casey come up with our topic and let it be a surprise today, and she's going to run the show. So this could either go really well, and I may lose a job from hosting in the future, or this may be a stock descending moment, and I got to rewrite the ship next week. So without further ado, Casey, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to place a disclaimer. I don't really know how this is gonna go either, so hopefully it goes fine. And also, I'm not as prepared as. Is something funny, Josh?
Just thinking back to a few episodes when I farted.
Okay, anyways. I'm not as prepared as Brody usually is, so forgive me if this is terrible. But tonight we are going to be talking about ghosts and paranormal activity. I don't know, where everyone stands. I know Josh has got some ghost stories that he can tell for sure. But we'll start with Brody. Brody, do you believe in ghosts?
I don't not believe in ghosts, but I don't necessarily believe in them either. I think, definitely to the extent I think Hollywood has drum up the interest, and you have so many paranormal movies, and a lot of that stuff is fake. I know there's a lot of sci-fi shows like Ghost Hunters and stuff. A lot of those are generally or mostly all scripted behind the scenes. There are very unusual stuff that I think could be easily explained by ghosts or use the ghost. Again, the Warrens are famous if you know who the Warrens are. They're from the Conjuring movies, but the Annabelle doll and other real life, they have a real life horror room of all their stuff. And there's exorcists that are actually done. Nothing to the extent of the movies, but I don't know. I'm definitely a person if you told me that this house is haunted and I give you money to go spend a night in it, I would easily do it. Noises don't creep me out as long as nothing's gonna kill me, which I don't think will happen. I don't think ghosts have that much power in this world. So I don't know if that answers any of your questions, but yeah, I mean they might be real, they might not. I don't really have a strong opinion either way.
So what about energies? Because maybe you don't believe in ghosts walking around and haunting people. Do you believe in people say they feel energies? What about
I
that?
don't
Do you
know
think
what
that?
that means when someone says they feel energy.
Okay, so a lot of people are mediums who can connect with the afterlife. A
Like
lot of
Ouija
those kind of
boards and stuff.
people. Yeah, kind of. I think that's more directed toward ghosts and demons and stuff. But energies are just I kind of imagine it as just little glowing orb, not actually a glowing orb, just the energy. So sometimes people will be mediums who can connect with those kind of things are I feel an energy right now. There might be someone present. What about stuff like that? Do you believe in spirit energies or anything?
No, that just all sounds
No.
theatrical to me.
Yeah, I got you. What about Josh? He's dying laughing over there, so I would love to hear from him.
Which question you've asked too?
Okay, well, the initial question was, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. Uh elaborate. I mean, have you had like what makes you believe that ghosts are
Um,
real and haunting the earth or whatever?
I was in the same, I guess, situation as Birdie, where at first, like, it was just like some things weird that's happened to me while I was growing up that I couldn't really explain. And but then I felt like there was, with all of the script stuff that you see on TV, I was like, is there really even anything there, or is it just my mind playing jokes on me? But I've been ghost hunting with uh, a few people from Ghost Hunters on A&E. Uh, I went with them, and just some things, there's no explanation, absolutely none. And so that's kind of where I got my 100% yes, ghost are real.
All right. Um so I guess kind of where we go into the next topic is like any experiences that you've had with like paranormal stuff happening or things like what Josh was saying that you just like can't explain. Maybe it does have to do with the ghosts, maybe not. Um, Josh, you wanna start?
Sure. Well, like I said, I've been ghost hunting, and there was, I'll tell my one that I can't explain. So I was in a room where it was like a dressing room because I was in a theater is where I went ghost hunting, and there was the dressing room, and there was a chair in the back corner, and they were like, "That's where everyone gets touched. That's where everyone's affected." So I was like, "Okay, I'll sit over there. Like, why not?" And so I'm sitting there. I feel fine the whole night, and then just as I sit down, everything like becomes dizzy. Like I'm spinning, I'm nauseous, I don't feel good. And I look at Lexi's cuz I was actually with her, and I was like, I don't feel good. And then the girl that was on Ghost Hunters was like, "Does anyone else feel really dizzy?" And I said, "Yeah." And so we, like, okay, we're feeling the exact same thing. I didn't say anything to her. This wasn't scripted at all. It was like, that's weird. So then we were doing EVPs, which is you get a recorder and you ask questions, and then you stay silent and see if there's a response. And they wanted me to ask a question because I already felt really weird and just I didn't feel good. And so I said, "Is there anything I can do?" And then, as clear as day, it's dead silent in there. No one's talking. You hear, "Go home." And that's just like, how can you explain that? Everyone was silent. The recorder was right next to me. I never said a word. No one around me said a word. And it was just like, how do you explain that?
Your recorder, like when you played it back, you heard "Go Home," or you heard like "Go Home"?
No, no. So when you play it back, you hear "Go home."
Who gave you the recorder?
One of the ghost hunters. Here we go. We're gonna go through this all freaking night. We're gonna hear,
Who
"Oh
picked
well,
this
he's
place?
gonna die."
The ghost hunters?
Mm. It was kind of, it was one of those things where the owners of the uh, theater said, "Do you want to come over and do like an event where you can pay to go ghost, where people can pay to go ghost hunting?" But the thing is maybe like a month or two before that, I did one, and nothing really happened. So
Right.
I mean, but then they wanted to make this one special. It's like, if it was an equal amount of activity on the first one as the second one, then I'd be like, okay, maybe that's a little sus. But I was over at the other one and not much happened. So I was just like, that's dumb. I just wasted all that money for nothing. But the second one, a lot more happened.
I just thought
Crazy
of
because
something
like
in my head that's a good comparison of how I feel like the ghost hunting world or like ghost activity world is. I compare it to the magic trick world, where if you I remember going as like a kid, if you sold those magazines, did you guys have to do that where you sold like magazine subscriptions, and if you get enough, you get like prizes, and one of the prizes was like the magic show. Obviously, there's magicians like David Blaine and Chris Angel and like like high-end magicians or even street magicians, like they can do stuff in the moment that looks unexplainable, but there's always a trick to it. Like none of the stuff they do is like actually as it appears. And I whether it's fair or not, I compare that to like the ghost world of like weird stuff that will happen. Especially to show stuff, I think is like super staged. Real life stuff, it's harder to like again stage kind of like stuff, so you probably won't have as many like crazy stuff happening as you can do on like a TV show. So that's
Mhm.
just how I view it. Is that's why I asked about who where the recorder come from. If it was them, well,
I mean, the thing is, the recorder wasn't even from the Ghost Adventures. They brought nothing. It was all from another paranormal group that does paranormal all around Virginia.
hmm
And one thing is, how do you stage a live recording?
um, I don't
Like,
know
if
what
there's a
type of
way,
recorder, but you can like add in stuff on playback depending on what kind of like stuff it is. If it's like was it like a cassette tape recorder?
it was kind of it looked kind of like a phone where there was the little screen
Because
and
you could do
on the
like
thing.
because if it's like supposed to be like playing it silent, if it was like you can have it record the noise and then after so many seconds go by in that recording you can put in have like a sound effect and make it go off, if that makes sense. So you can have like record live for a minute, but like at like the 37-second mark, it's like video editing,
But
but like sound editing.
how would they know when I was gonna talk? I could have sat there for 2 minutes, said nothing, and then did it. And then the other thing is I asked 3 questions. I heard nothing, but the last question was, "What can I do?" And it said, "Go home."
If I was smart, then I would be smart enough to answer your question and know the answers, then I probably wouldn't be on this podcast with like a couple of viewers. Like I'd probably be like super smart.
I
So
mean, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that I could have said. There's a lot of things that I could have done. There's a ton of amount of time that I could have waited.
sure,
They have no 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 real reasoning to put that there.
unless again, I don't know how stuff necessarily works like that, but it could be a thing externally that you press something. I'm not saying they secretly pressed a switch or a button and made it go off, but
Mm.
obviously me and Josh are two different opinions of this, where he's more believing and I'm more like, nah, there's got to be like, I don't think it's real. I think if ghosts were necessarily real, we would, there'd be more proof of it than what, I mean, we're in 2021. Like, we're about to send, I don't know, like the technology we have nowadays, and like, you can't tell me like there isn't or isn't ghosts, or like we would know there'd be more like crazy stuff, I think, happening than, ooh, scary abandoned theater, scary abandoned mansion, or scary abandoned jail. Like, why do ghosts always be at these like abandoned places,
I mean, I know most abandoned places aren't taken care of or
right?
like and there's I've looked up and like watched shows and YouTube videos and all of this and it's saying like it's more residual energy where it's just sitting there. Nothing's happening like in this say a house as mine. There's people going around and all of this. And when you're kind of just sitting there, you're more likely to show yourself, I guess, in a way.
So you're saying it's like Toy Story where the ghosts are like acting dead or like asleep when it's like people around.
Yeah. I mean, there are very like smart entities, I believe. The ones that will, if you ask a question, it'll like knock or something. And there's also energies that are kind of just like playing in a loop where you hear footsteps around the same time in the same spot every day because it's just like it's going through a loop. It's not necessarily a smart person trying to communicate with you. It's just catches that one moment in time and it just replays itself.
Yeah, because most of the time you hear like ghosts or a ghost story, it's always like something tragic of how that person became a ghost. It's always like some sad death story generally, whether it's like a, homicide or something along those lines. And I don't know. I just feel like there can't be like a specific ritual to like make a ghost, you know? So I just feel like we would be in contact more with the paranormal if they were real than
All
what
right,
we actually are supposed to like actually think we experience with.
then let me ask you if this makes sense. If, say, you grow old, die at 80, just because you're old, um, you're gonna rest easy. Like you're gonna be resting in peace. You're gonna go off, do whatever you want, correct? And then those
Sure.
people that are killed at 18, they still, in their mind, they're still, oh, I need to live. I need to do things. I want my story to be told, and whatever. So you're gonna show yourself, and you're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna communicate. So the ones that are communicating with you are usually the ones that have had bad things happen to them, and they're just not resting easily. They're still alive. They're still their energy's still in the air and all of that.
Y Yeah, I was gonna say, like, 'cause I've heard that, like, I mean, I guess there's not really an explanation, but I've heard that, ghosts are people that are, like, stuck in between, like, they're stuck in between, like, being on Earth and being a person, but they didn't make it all the way to the afterlife. Cause like, I mean, nobody really knows what happens when you die, but, I mean, they could have been, like, fighting so hard to not die that they got stuck, like, and I don't know if I believe that or not. I never answered the question earlier, but I do think I believe in ghosts to an extent. I don't know if I'm like, "Oh, there's ghosts everywhere," but I definitely believe in, like, energies and spirits and stuff like that, but I guess, like, if it's more of where, they're stuck and didn't make it all the way, there's probably not as many ghosts, like, as you would if every single person that died turned into a ghost and was, like, walking the earth, then we probably would have way more contact with, like, paranormal stuff, but if not everyone turns into a ghost and it's just, like, some that do, then, I mean, that could explain, like, why we don't have as much information or, like, we're not as capable of connecting and contacting them, you know? And also, they probably don't really wanna be contacted, most of them. I mean, some of them, like what Josh was saying, like, maybe they do want their story told and stuff, but most of them probably don't, and they probably just wanna, like, float around and do
What
their
the hell's a
thing, I
ghost going to
guess.
do if it's not going to like try and
So,
talk to someone?
I mean, the only thing that really made me believe when I was younger, before I went ghost hunting and all of this, is we're all energy. That we're some sort of energy is in us. That energy just doesn't disappear in the dark. When you die, that energy has to go somewhere. And I believe that it just stays here, and it's kind of doing whatever you were doing when you were alive.
So do you think believing in ghosts ties to your religion in the sense if you believe there's an afterlife or if like how you're saying there's like a if you're trapped like you're in purgatory, like if you don't think there's anything after death, then I don't think you would think in ghosts, would you? If you
I
don't think
mean,
you're trapped, like they can't
that's
move on.
that's one of the things that I've was struggling with for a while is I grew up in a Christian house, and I went to a Catholic school and everything, and all of that may be true. I'm not sure, but it's just like there's so much science that is a fact that has been proven. There's so many other religions other than Christianity that was made a long time before Christianity was even a thing. So, I mean, people ask me what my religion is, I'm more spiritual. I mean, I believe there's something somewhere. What it is, I don't know. Um, and I think it's just one of those things where it kind of goes with my religion, but then again, it doesn't.
It's a slight diversion question, but do you think it's more realistically that there's aliens or ghosts?
Depends on your definition of aliens. Are we talking green guys coming to take over our world? Or are you talking like a bacteria on Mars?
You know, it could be any shape or size. That's, it doesn't
Because
have to
there's
be
proven
humanoid.
fact there's proven facts that there's bacteria on other
It could be
planets
squid-like
that
creatures. It could be creatures we have no like conceptual possibility of thinking. It could be 20-foot tall aliens, 1 foot tall aliens, 1 millimeter tall alien, like organisms. Like, do you think there's life
I
essentially,
think
or are you more likely to incline to believe there's ghosts? Like, which one do you put more stock in,
to
aliens or
me
ghosts?
ghost for me. Aliens, there's provens that there are bacterias that they're living, so they're aliens from other planets, but I mean, ghosts to me are more realistic
That's
than some green
insane.
fucking guy coming, "Oh, I'm gonna take over your world."
You're
No,
fucking
that's silly.
insane. As
You're
big as
fucking
I
space
insane.
is, you think it's more likely
yeah,
ghosts exist than
Yes.
I was gonna say the
aliens.
same
You're
thing.
insane.
Where
I think
are these fucking
we
aliens?
Dude, space is
listen. We
fucking
don't know.
space.
Wh- Okay.
We know our galaxy, and that's it. And we barely know our galaxy. We know
Dude, we could have
nothing
some in
about
Area
outer space.
51. You don't know.
Well, that's the thing is we know a lot more about ghosts than we do aliens.
That's not true.
But
The
it's
government
I
probably
think
knows and they're keeping it from us.
Well, that's not my fault.
I
I know more about ghosts.
hang on. Hang on. I think it's like just so close-minded to think that there isn't any life form other than the life we have on Earth and then like, maybe a bacteria somewhere on another planet. Like we know nothing about the like outer space, so I feel like it's just like
And
for
that's the
for what we
What, we
know,
know like
space
9
goes on
planets?
for eternity. Yeah,
and that's
there's no way that there's no other, like, animals or creatures somewhere in the solar system or, like, somewhere in space. There has to be something. It can't
and
all
that's
just
the
be
thing.
empty.
That's the thing. So there's no 100% like there's ghosts. There's no 100% that there's aliens.
But there
Since
is. There's
since
somewhere.
ghosts since ghosts are on my planet and I have come in contact with them,
You think?
I'm I'm
I
saying
get
that
that.
there's more
I
I
get
believe
that.
more in ghosts than there are aliens.
You have a personal connection to it, which is why it's so
Exactly.
concrete to you. I get it.
Exactly.
Do you
I get it.
think in your lifetime there be an alien confirmation?
No.
I think so.
All right, well, what happened to this fucking Area 51 that was supposed to come up with all these aliens? Where the fuck is that?
Mm.
No one's ever gotten inside yet.
Where are they
Also,
at?
the
Why is it so
government
heavily protected if they're not hiding
Because it's a
anything?
military. Is it a military base? Is that what it is? Don't know, so I don't want to sound dumb. Is it a
It's
military
it's
base?
part military base, yes, but more.
Well, then that's
Camp
why
Camp
it's so
Perry here in
heavily
Virginia is a
protected.
military base, and it's not as like
yeah,
minefield
it's
and like
Well,
heavily guarded.
they probably have like nukes in there or something.
Aliens.
Oh my
I'm
god, get the
just
fuck up on my face.
I don't think there are aliens in Area 51. I think they know a lot more than they tell us. They might have like, documents that confirm that there is some other planet out there with life on it. I don't know that they would have we haven't even gotten people on Mars yet. I don't think they would have any aliens in there. But the government knows so much more about everything than people do, like just regular people. They don't tell us
All right.
anything
Then my question to you: why hide it? What is there to lose if there's aliens?
because
You know,
you have to realize how much that would absolutely change everything. It would be insane. Think about all the religious people whose
you know
lives
the
are completely
hysteria the
dead.
world will go
Yeah,
into when there's
because
confirmation of aliens.
yeah, people are revolved like their whole mindset is revolved around like we are the center of the earth. We are
Mhm.
we are the center of the earth, but the center of everything. When people realize that there is like other stuff out there, religious people who think that, earth was created by God and like earth is God's
Would
creation. If they find out that there's something else out there, they're gonna have a crisis.
all
They're
right,
like,
but
"Why didn't
the
God tell
government
us?" Like,
the government pays for NASA, right? And science and like science and all of that. And science shows or tells us that there is no God. So why would it matter to them? Like this is more for education purposes. This isn't me arguing. I just wanna I don't want y'all coming down my throat saying, "Oh, you messed up." No, this is for education. Why would the government care when the government is helping NASA and scientists show that God isn't real?
because people don't care about that. People absolutely don't care about that. They're like, "Oh, they've just lost their faith. They don't understand." Like, it doesn't matter, like, "Oh, we've proven God isn't real." We can tell them everything and make like, people are still
Yeah,
gonna
it's
freak
something that's like
out. You
you
can't
can like set something like religion's like so like wishy-washy anyway, like people believing and not believing. If you're to like for instance, let's say, God is real. Do you think they'll come out and like confirm it? Like and piss off like half the people
no.
and then every other religion? I don't think they ever would.
Yeah,
Same
that
with
would cause
aliens.
war. It would cause war. I mean, it wouldn't
There's
the
war
world
already.
would but it's not the same. Like, people would not be comfortable knowing that we're not the center of the universe.
And you read articles like every month about, oh, what's that weird thing in space that flew by the Earth? It's weirdly shaped and never seen like an asteroid shaped like that or anything. Must be an
That's like
alien ship. Or there's okay, there's like all like every other month, not literally, but like how many UFO sightings have we supposedly seen? Crop circles,
and
like all the
that's
alien myths and like weird things that we like, all big news, and it's like no one ever really explains it. Kind of just like
and that's
shoo.
I guess that's the exact same way with ghosts. Like you get like a picture of an orb floating, or you get a tape of someone saying, "Go home." I mean, that's the exact same thing as someone could have easily gotten a fucking lawnmower and made the goddamn crop
I
circle.
agree.
Someone could have easily photoshopped that UFO in
And
that
someone could have
picture.
easily faked that recording that you
And
heard.
and
So
I'm by no means am I saying one like you said, it's just
I just think, yeah, because space is space and it's beyond anything we can comprehend, and I guess so is the paranormal world. But I just think the likelihood of aliens existing is more than a ghost.
not to me at least.
Because alien, that would just be like another living thing, where a ghost is like a whole another dimension of weird shit.
Well, okay, let's go back to, the ghost topic where we were.
Turning us to
Because
the alien talk.
well, I mean, aliens kind of fit into like the paranormal topic, I guess. Um, so I asked Josh already. He like said one thing. Brody, have you had any experiences at all that have made you be like, oh shit, are ghosts real? Wait a second, because I know you're not a very strong believer of that.
Um, I don't know if I told a story on the podcast. I was in the Boy
Tell it again.
Scouts, and we do a lot of like trips, and a lot of trips for young boys if I was like ghost related stuff. So there's an aircraft carrier. I think it's the USS Charleston. You can like spend a night or whatever on. It's kind of like a museum aircraft carrier. They have like a little mock military base and a submarine and another boat you can get on. I think it's the Charleston, and it's I believe South Carolina. But you stay like on a week, and it's supposedly haunted. And what's really fun is it's like a museum during the day, and then it like closes at like 5, 6, 7 to the public, and then we have like pretty much the run of the ship, and we always play like manhunt and stuff on the ship, which is actually really dangerous because if you ever been on one like a ship, the doorways are like like a 4-inch like little hall, and you can easily trip, and those stairs are so steep. I don't recommend it. They do close off part of the ship, like you can't go on the the deck, I guess, of all the planes because they don't want you falling off the side. So they do close some of the stuff off, but pretty much a bunch of 12-year-old boys running around on a ship. What could go wrong? There was this dining hall, right? And I'm gonna explain what it actually was. It was just like it was so funny. It's like it's ghosts. Every time we would walk into this room, the dining room, there would be like a rumbling sound. And it's like literally every time I walk through that door, there'd be like a rumbling, like a shaking, rumbling sound. The room wouldn't shake, but it'd just be like that sound. And I did it when I was a kid. And obviously, you're told like the ship is haunted. I'd freak out and be like, ah, and then we would run away, right? It's funny was they're doing construction on the ship, doing repairs and stuff. Is what it actually was, but it was just so funny because every time we would go into this room, that noise would start, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing as a kid. But the ship was under construction. It was just coincidence, lucky timing. Um, I've been on like ghosts. I remember another trip we went to Gettysburg. Obviously big Civil War, and again another cliche of ghost things is mass historical battles like the Revolutionary War, Civil War, like anything like that where there's mass death. There's always a bunch of like ghost stories. It's very common. Animated shows like I remember watching Scooby Doo. They had like a Civil War episode. Where it was like the ghosts of soldiers coming back. It's a common thing to have ghost stories amongst historical battles. So we went on like this ghost tour, and um, you hear like the tragic stories and like the history behind a supposed ghost. And I find ghost stories like interesting and cool. I don't put much stock in them. I mean, there'd be like, of course, a weird noise. There might be like a weird like wind chill, but nothing I think ever really happens. It's like made me like obviously change like, oh my god, ghosts, they're fucking here. Nothing ever like that. What about you, Casey? You got any good
Um,
good ghost stories?
so the only I was trying to think before we started, like stuff. I've only got like two ghost stories that I've experienced. So the first one's kind of boring, less likely to be, like a real ghost. But me and my two friends, when we were kids, we were probably like 12 or 13. We did a Ouija board, and like you put your fingers on it, and the ghost is supposed to move your hands, and I'm not lying. That, like, little cup thing was moving all over the board, and it was actually very scary, and we all, of course, were like, "You did that. You were pushing it. You were pushing it." But, like, we all, like, swore on our lives nobody was pushing it. So that definitely was, like, really weird because like, it's such a weird feeling when it's
What
moving
did it
because
spell?
there's, like, a very, like, specific way you have to, like, do the Ouija board to not, like, disrespect or anything like
Oh,
that because that's apparently,
don't want
like,
to
that's how
offend
you
a ghost in
well, apparently
2021.
that's how you, like, get, like, people
Ghost
that
rights.
do Ouija boards, if they get on there and start doing disrespectful stuff, that's how it
Right.
sometimes gets jacked up. But, so we asked the name, and it spelled out it spelled out Kikakova, which I don't know what that is, but that became a huge inside joke between me and my friends. Anytime anything would happen, we'd be like, "It's Kikakova." But we, like, asked, like, questions like, "How did you pass away?" or something like that, and there's a list of things. You'd be like, "Did you die of natural causes?" And then it would go, "No." "Did somebody hurt you?" "No." And then it ended up we got to, like, the last question, was, like, "Are you a child?" or something like that, and then it went to "Yes." So it turned out, like, Kikakova was apparently, like, uh, died as an infant or something like that. I don't really remember, but I don't know how likely that is. There's, like, stuff that says, like, your, like, energy and your nervousness can, like, make the cup move. I don't really know if it was real or not, but it definitely was so scary at the time. Like, I could not sleep that night. And also that night, we were having a sleepover at my friend's house, and, we were in her room. It was, like, 3 in the morning, and we hear a huge crash in the house. So we're like, "Oh no, what did we do? We should not have done the Ouija board." And we go look out in the living room, and like all the stuff in the living room closet at her house had fallen. Just everything fell. And it was really terrifying. So like the ghost might have been mad at us. I don't know.
Yeah, you offended it, bro. Did you say
Maybe.
goodbye
You
correctly?
pissed off
Yeah.
Kikakova.
Apparently. But the
Nothing wrong
other
with you.
thing that I have experienced, I don't know if you guys have heard of the ghost light of King William. So it's a set of railroad tracks on the Pamunkey Indian Reservation where actually I'm not gonna fine. Anyways, so there's like this age old like legend about the ghost light. And the legend says that there was a train wreck on those tracks there, and the conductor of the train got beheaded during the wreck. So, if you go there at night and you wait, you're supposed to be able to see a light, and the light is supposed to symbolize him looking for his head, like he's walking around with a lantern.
Hell no,
That's
that's
what it
another
is.
train, bro. That's a train coming for you.
So, I never believed in that, but I had heard that my aunt saw it when she was a teenager. Her and her friends saw it. And I was like, "Okay, I don't know." Then me and my grandparents and my brother went one night, and we sat there for about 15 minutes, like, on the tracks. Nothing happened. We were just about to leave, and we see the light down at the end of the tracks, and it's just I can't even like, it's just a glowing orb, like a perfect orb just in the middle of the air. And we're like, "Oh my god." I'm a kid. I'm like maybe 10. I start crying. I'm so scared. My brother's screaming. My grandma's like, "Go, go, go, go." We start like we get in the car, turn the car on, and then it is like right there, right in the window. I was in the back seat on the left, and it's right there at the window. It's a glowing orb, and then we just drive away as fast as we can. So, I don't know what that is. Like,
See,
what?
that's like when you need to like, okay, I'm gonna like prove what this is. I'm gonna get out the car. I'm gonna see what this goddamn light is. Not
So you're telling
book
me
it and
my
not
10
know. Not know. Or
you're
or
telling
you're
me
like
my
your grandparents or
10-year-old
your
self.
parents or whoever else like older was there.
No, it's a glowing orb. It was all the way down on the tracks, and then as soon as we decide to leave, it appears right in my face. It was just a glowing orb. I don't know, like, what was he supposed to do? Touch it? I don't wanna touch it.
Would you touch it now? Now that you're older?
No,
I would.
absolutely not.
Like, how are
Absolutely
you
not.
supposed to ever know? You could have
I
been
don't
like
know.
proven, like especially when everyone has like an iPhone, right? Like we can record this stuff, and like
Yeah, I was
obviously we
10.
couldn't. Yeah, but like obviously pre, I don't know when camera phones are easily accessible. Like we've really only had access to this level of technology what the last 15 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Like before then, it's like very rare to have someone have like means of video recording. Obviously, we can take snap photos and everything can be edited, and weird things happen in photos all the time. But like within the last 15 years, right? Imagine everyone in the world. There's a bunch of curious people. Like there's been no way of like recording anything. Like I just don't. I don't buy that. There has to be proof by now. I
So,
think.
you don't think I saw the orb? Or you don't think
I think what you saw is not a ghost.
what could it be then? Like, what would it be?
I wasn't there, so
Like,
I don't know what exactly you saw.
it's
That's
I
another thing.
it's an orb, like, it was, like, this big, because it wasn't tiny, but it wasn't huge, it was, like, this size, and it was just a glowing ball of white light.
I say we all make a field trip one day and try and go
We
see it again.
totally could. We
I mean,
totally
I'm
could.
down.
It's about an hour drive. It's not
Is it
bad.
supposed to be? Is it just a random thing that happens some nights? I assume.
Yeah, so it used to be very popular and, like, a lot of people knew about it. It's been, like, published about in books talking about, like, Virginia legends and ghosts and stuff like that. Um, and if you look up King William Ghostlight, you'll see stuff on it. Um, I mean, a lot of people go to see it and won't see anything. It just happens sometimes. But it was really terrifying when I went because I was a kid and I didn't know. And I think I would still probably be very scared if I saw it.
Well, that brings up my other question. So, like, Alcatraz is like another famous prison ghost place, but would you a supposed haunted place, like where it's like multiple people can confirm they've had ghost related instances? Would you ever spend a night in one?
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, even if it was just to confirm what I already believe. I mean, I'm a you I believe that you can tell a ghost not to come like follow you home. Um just ask it like respectfully to not come with you and it won't. So like say something did happen. I mean, I'm not the type of person to like run away screaming and crying like somebody over here, but like I'd be down just for the experience cuz I mean, I know 100% I want to go back ghost hunting somewhere even if it's by myself. Like I want to go try that.
Hmm.
They're just, I just think there's enough people that go out and do this stuff. Like there would be evidence. There'd be like some people
Well,
aren't
there
like
is,
aren't
but
like
you always
scaredy cat
Let's go on a
enough
ghost hunt. Let's go
to
on a ghost
like
hunt.
sit there and like not freak out and leave. And then like everything we always ever get, it's always like so minor. Like I never like see anything like do you believe in like the actual like you see a physical like the white veil like figure of someone aspect of a ghost, or it's always just like they're invisible and they might like you might I guess they can talk if you heard you like go home and you like they can audibly speak, but can they make a physical appearance in a way of like a form? Like what's the extent of what you think ghosts can and can't do?
um I mean for me, I'm I guess I you could say I'm seeing is believing for me. Or if I'm there and I hear something, then it's real and there's no explanation. Um, I believe that they can come out as like an orb, like a little bright of light, which is that energy that I was talking about earlier. Like that energy doesn't just disappear. I feel like if they can get enough energy, they can show themselves. I've heard stories of people seeing and all these like white this girl in a white dress or whatever, and I haven't seen it, so I'm not 100% sure. But um, orbs and stuff, I believe like that's. I feel like they can do that.
Shout out Lexi in the chat. Lexi, do you believe in ghosts? If so, have you had any encounters with ghosts? I would love to hear.
Yeah, she'll validate my EVP. We should get her in this podcast
She's
real
probably the
quick.
one that said go home and secretly recorded it and trying to freak you out, you
She's
know?
like, Josh, go home.
Yeah, we need to go
Okay.
somewhere and do a ghost thing. That'd be fun.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
that would be.
And we're not
So
freaking out and leaving before we if we see the light, if we do this and go to that thing, if we see the light,
okay.
we go towards the light. We don't run away.
Um. Um. I don't know about that, but you guys might have to physically restrain me. But okay.
We'll handcuff you to one of
So
us so you have to go with us.
Hell no,
I'll
she'd
be.
be dragging us, bro.
As I'm saying, I'll be dragging on the ground. Um. So okay, I have a like short little
Absolutely, you
like
can. Sorry.
it's I guess a ghost story, but I just want to hear like what your opinions are on it. So this is like a real thing that happened. Um, so there's a guy. His name is Chai, I guess. And he lived in the Philippines. And he was walking from a theater back to his dorm with some of his friends. He looks up because he's in like I guess a city or a place with lots of tall buildings. You know, he looks up and sees a woman like jump off the top story of a building. Like she jumps off. He's freaking out. He tells his friends, so they all start freaking out. He's the only one that saw it. They all run over to the what?
Am I spoiling by saying there's no body? Is that what the story goes to?
Just just so they
Yeah,
go
there's no
over,
body.
they look, they can't find her. He's freaking out though cuz he just saw a woman, jump off a building. So a security guard comes over and he's like, "What's happening?" And he explains, he's like, "A woman just jumped off this building. I saw it." And it turned out like that a few years before this happened, a woman actually did jump off of that building and commit suicide. And it was actually when he saw her, it was the anniversary of her death. So, they're like, okay, well, we just maybe saw her ghost jump the building on the anniversary of her death date.
Before Birdie
What do you
goes,
think?
this is what I was talking about, the residual energy. It's that constant loop.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily have to happen every day, not every hour, not every minute. It can happen every year. And it's just that chunk of time of that most dramatic part of her life is just replaying over and over again. And I mean, that's how I would explain it, is it's that energy just going through a loop, and especially on that anniversary, she jumped off. And so that's what they saw. They saw that residual energy jumping off that building, because obviously that was a very devastating time for her. Um and so it could have just been playing over again.
Do you know when this
Birdie?
like was?
Um, I don't have the date. I don't think it
Yeah,
was
she
like,
just looked it up on the Wikipedia. It's
no,
true,
no.
100%. It has to be
It's
true.
it's not from Wikipedia. It's I don't think it was like a super super long time ago or anything. I think it was like probably 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, so it's safe to say at least 20 years, right? Around 20 years at least.
Some yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so theoretically, there would be 20 anniversaries, right? Is there any other confirmed people saying they saw this on any other time?
I don't know.
Like I said, she looked it up on the Wikipedias. Of course not.
I did not look it up on Wikipedia. It was on an actual thing. But I mean, what if it was just like, because it didn't say like, it just said like several years ago that the
Right.
woman had committed suicide. So
And
maybe it was like the 5-year anniversary.
I'm not gonna, I don't call anyone liars, but like that's one of those things where someone can, look up a tragic event and
Yeah,
like replay it and say they saw like someone jumping off or like someone
that's
hanging
true.
themselves. They can easily, I'm not saying they did, but it's also one of those things like, oh my God, you see that? And like totally play it off and then like freak other people out and make head news. And
Well, he said he was like, when they were over there, he was like hysterically like crying and like, because
boy, if you're
I
going to
would
sell
probably
it,
cry too.
you gotta sell
I
Eh,
it.
mean, with
I'm not going to
this,
name names, but there's someone we all know who also, in a much lower scale, not someone jumping off, says things that no one else sees or ever hears of. And it's happened. It's like, well, I don't know. It must have been ghosts. Especially at Go Karts Plus, there's been an instance of something happening where it was like almost closing time. And oh, I hope they don't watch this. Um, I don't think they do. Um, there's someone apparently on a track on the middle of the bridge, right? And this person said he swore he saw someone on the bridge. And this is like closing time, a couple years ago, so it's not busy, so there wasn't any like customers and stuff. And I guess he was the only employee looking at the time. And he said this figure or person like ran off and like hopped the fence and went through the railroad tracks and stuff. But he was the only one that ever saw it. And he was, dead set on that definitely happened and believed it and was telling everyone, it's like, no, I totally saw this figure. He was on the track. There's someone here. And
was he tweaking? He was tweaking, bro.
I don't, that's just one story of this person saying something that's like happened and like nothing else, no one else
Maybe
heard it or saw it?
Yeah,
see
I was gonna say I've you know how much I work there, and it's I don't get any creepy feelings. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything.
mm,
I don't. I'm gonna call BS on that one.
I agree, but this is my point of like some people,
yeah.
whether he actually
Yeah.
saw something or not, you never know. Like
Okay, so I
unless
have
you,
one
I need
that
physical
is
proof to believe people because people are too easily going to
All
lie.
right, well let's go.
okay.
Let's go
I
ghost
have
hunting.
one that is like there's dead proof on and people
Oh
don't know
yeah.
how to explain. Um and it doesn't necessarily have to do with like a ghost, but okay. So you might already have heard of the story. It's like a super popular like case. But her name is Elisa Lamb. And she traveled from Vancouver to Los Angeles by herself. Um, and she was just, going everywhere, enjoying her time on the West Coast. And every day she was there, she was in contact with her parents. Everything was normal. She was constantly calling them to let them know what she was doing, that she was okay. So yeah, it wasn't like she was like some random person. And then one day, like after a few days, she had just not contacted her parents at all. Her parents couldn't get in contact with her. So the thing they file a missing persons report. Um, so they're, looking for her. And then days later, they find her body in a water tank above the hotel she was staying at. And her body had been there for a few days because it was like decomposing and stuff. But so they, immediately rule it as like, oh, we don't know. Is this a suicide? What?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they are investigating. And the only like evidence or anything they have, like footage of her from that like day that she went missing was, and you can look it up on YouTube. There's elevator surveillance video of her getting in an elevator. She's acting so like totally weird, looks like she's possessed. And that's like what people are thinking. Like that's what the theory is, that she got like possessed or something. She's in the elevator, she's like pressing buttons, she's ducked down. Then she immediately like, comes out of the elevator and she's looking around the corner all weird. Then she like backs up into the corner again and she's crouching down and then she's pressing buttons. She is so out of it and looks insane. And it's like a 3-minute long video of her just doing those same things, just like searching around the elevator. It was weird. I watched it and it freaked me out. Um, but they ruled her death as a suicide and that she jumped into the water tank to kill herself. But the water tanks, well, first of all, to get to the water tanks, you have to go through doors and up a flight of stairs. If you go through those doors, an alarm goes off and you need a key. Nobody gave her a key. No alarms went off that day. Then, say she did manage to get past the alarm and onto the roof. The water tank is like way up here. I mean, you need a ladder to get into it. And it's locked with like a huge lock and stuff. There's no ladder at the water tank. The lock is still locked, and her body's just floating in there. Like, it's closed and everything. Like,
Have you seen this, or is this what the article says?
what do you mean, have I seen it?
Have you been there? Do you know that that alarm doesn't reset after a
It's a
certain time,
it's
or
a it's a true like, it's a case. I mean, these people had to the workers and stuff were probably all getting questioned as well. I mean, it's like, that is true. You have to have a key, and you have to get past the alarm and then get up into the water tank. It's a huge water tank. It's not like some little like jug of water. Like you need a ladder to get up there.
Well, I hope
So if
so.
she
If she
committed
if she was in it.
if she like where would the ladder go and who had a key and a lock? And I mean they did a
all right?
serious investigation and it's still unsolved. I mean it's still ruled as a suicide.
All right, so I got it. She got a helicopter,
Okay.
plumped in there. And then that helicopter driver went down with her, relocked it with the exact same lock. Flew away.
Mm, no. I mean, you have to really go watch the surveillance video on YouTube to see just how weird. I mean, people are like saying that, oh, she was on drugs, she
As I was
was
say,
on,
people on drugs do a lot of weird things.
but I mean, they did a full autopsy and everything. She was on, um, I think bipolar medication. Let me check. Um,
Here we go with the Wikipedia again.
Well,
no.
my question to you is like, what if you do you think a ghost did it or she was possessed?
I mean,
Because
I
if
don't really
so,
know.
if all your others like how even if this person was possessed, how would that possessed body get into that position as well?
So, okay, wait.
It was aliens. It was Area 51.
I mean, the UFO could have like warped her up. Like that's
Oh,
another thing.
shit.
Like if she was possessed, right, and everything still couldn't get up there, you can't morph your solid through a solid, so you still have to go through the lid, supposedly,
Mhm.
right? Like how does a physic like the body doesn't change if you're possessed? You're still like a body. So how does all that stuff still play out if you're possessed? As you're saying, a ghost like levitated her up, magically unlocked the lock, left the possessed body, threw it in there, and then like magically locked the lock again.
I have no explanation. I don't know. Nobody really knows. I mean,
Sounds like
there's like
the season finale of like a Criminal Minds or Law and Order SVU episode.
it
Facts, dude.
really I mean, it could be a movie. Like they did so many investigations on it, but there's just no proof of anything.
When was this? Like what year?
I think she died in 2013,
And where was this? You said
Los Angeles.
in a hotel.
Yeah, she's at a hotel.
It's just like I don't know.
There a water tank on a hotel.
I feel like I don't know.
Well, I guess if it's on top, I mean, I
For
guess hotels
water?
need water tanks somewhere.
That'd be in the
Like
sewage system
I guess
below.
obviously, I guess there's no camera in that room where the water tank was, or on the roof or whatever it was,
Yeah, it was on a roof.
and no one. I mean, also it's like early in the morning, I guess, when everyone's like sleeping. There's no one else getting in the elevator or anything.
No, she watched it's a 3-minute video of her just I mean, she has, like she looks so weird, and it's, like, her family, I guess,
Was it like
like,
super
had
early in the
watched
morning or something?
um, I don't know, let
That's
me
drugs.
see.
All right, what's this called? I'm gonna look it up.
Look up, her name is Elisa Lam, Elisa Lam. It doesn't say what time it was.
I don't
The
know that I want
video
to watch this. What if I get
I mean,
creeped out?
You're gonna get scared.
it's not like, she's not, like I don't know. It's
Oh,
just unsettling to look at because she's not like she wouldn't normally look like that, and there's no drugs in her system either. Like they did an autopsy. She was on they said it could possibly be that she had a bipolar disorder and had a manic episode, but that still doesn't explain how she got in the water tank. She had taken her prescribed stimulant medications but none of her stabilizers. So that could have caused the weird behavior in the elevator, but not how she got into a water tank without setting off alarms and without having a key or a ladder.
From what I'm looking at,
I'm not like a.
she,
I didn't go to
so what
school.
I see,
Go ahead.
she presses buttons, the door doesn't close. So she looks out and she's just sitting in the corner.
But do you see how
Nothing.
she's looking? She looks like I mean, you have to really watch the whole video. She's like really
I
just
mean, she's
freaked
just
out.
she's peeking around. I mean, wouldn't you be scared shitless if that door's not closing when it's supposed
Okay,
to?
but then, like, look, I think you're really missing some stuff. This is not normal behavior. I mean, look, go to, like, the 20 go to, like, 25 seconds in and see how she, like, lunges out of the elevator and she just
Yeah.
looks like, that's not normal. If you think someone's coming and maybe could be getting on the elevator, you just look and then you get back in. You don't do that for
Well,
3 minutes
bipolar
straight.
would describe unusual behavior too. If she's off her
Yeah,
meds.
and I mean, if she's having some sort of, like, I can't watch this, it really freaks me out. If she's having, like, some sort of, like, manic episode, that could
Right.
explain it, but it still doesn't explain, how her body got in there. I mean, that video is definite like, I don't know how you can watch that and not see that something's clearly off. Like, she looks
I don't
panicked
know.
and she looks like
Serial killers don't get caught. Not everyone's been caught.
well, that's what she looks like. She looks like there's a serial killer right
Could
there
have been.
trying to get her, but there's nothing.
I assume there's more than one way to get to the roof besides an elevator, right? Stairs.
Well, that's the thing. There's a fire escape or something that you use to get to it, but
Right.
it is secured with an alarm. Like, those, like, doors that are, like, emergency exit only, like, if you
Could
open, the
disable the
alarm will
alarm
sound?
and turn it back on when you're done.
I don't know. I mean, that's possible. Maybe a serial killer did it, but
Or
it's
maybe someone who worked there for some reason killed her. I mean, they have keys and easily they can
that's
lie about
yeah.
it.
I mean, I'm sure they did a huge investigation. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I will give it to you. It's weird, but I don't know that I would call it paranormal. Like, she doesn't look possessed to me. Like, cause all she
She
like, she's
looks
just pressing.
something.
Because she's like bending over pressing buttons like she can't see the fucking buttons, and then she like
But I mean,
lunges out.
she does that for 3 minutes straight. She comes in, she presses a bunch of buttons, and then she, like, jolts out, looks around, gets back, moves to the corner, tucks down. Like, it's weird. It really
I
looks
just
like,
think you can chalk that up to bipolar. I think that one's
yeah,
pretty easy to explain. Once you said that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That she's
so
acting weird.
doesn't explain
I
Oh,
how
give
serial
it
she
to you.
killer.
It's weird. Like, there's no way that she ended up in there.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't think she was possessed because there's no. I don't. Should I say I've never heard or seen anything? There's no way that she just turns into like a liquid or a gas and just goes in there and then turns into a solid again. Like,
I don't know.
on that note,
What?
on that note,
You're
is there anything
childish.
else?
I don't really get it, but okay.
Anyway, is
Yeah,
there
it's
anything else you would
like
like to
Lexi
talk
said,
about?
it's a thing where like the only one who knows what happened is her, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's typically how murders go. Only the killer knows because the victim's dead, so that's why the case is unsolved. They haven't caught the murderer.
Yep.
So, okay. What about um do you think, like, people actually get possessed? Do you believe in possession? Like, getting taken over by a demon?
Um, I believe that you can feel a certain way and all right, let me rephrase that. I don't think I don't think that you're gonna be foaming from the mouth, your back bends backwards, your head twists 180 degrees, all of that shit that you see in the movies. I believe they can mess with you and make you feel other like some type of way that's not yourself. Um, but nothing
Think they can
like
talk
for
through you, like they're possessing you and like talking, like they're the ones talking, but through you.
um In severe cases, yes, but not very often.
Severe cases?
So
Yeah, so like say you have an attachment, because I believe you can get attached to by a spirit or a demon, whatever you want to call it. And if it goes on long enough and you keep letting it take over your life, I believe that like if you try to get help, that they could like mess with you and they could say something, but it's not like one of those movies where you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." Like nothing like that. What are you watching?
me?
Am I tripping? Did you hear that, Birdie? Did you
Wait,
hear
It
what?
that?
was a ghost!
Wait,
Kikatoa
what?
or whoever's here.
Knock
Kikakova.
Not two
Kikakova.
times if you're here.
Wait, I'm
Oh
actually
shit.
confused now.
I don't know. I don't think possession's real. I find those videos on YouTube where it's like, oh, they call this exorcist. They come over and then you see all the people, like nothing as crazy as like the movie, but they're like clearly
Well,
something's happening supposedly. I think that comes my explanation for all that is like I don't think we totally comprehend mental disorders, and like if someone like who's not right mentally and physically believes they're possessed, then like you can manifest that kind of stuff in your head to where it's like actually you believe it like for real, like you actually think it is, you're not like faking it, and stuff like that can happen. But I'm not gonna believe you can be possessed.
So like I've seen this YouTuber who used to do like Ouija boards and all of this. Um and there's an episode on his channel where he like woke up and he sits up and he's just sitting there for like 5 minutes straight. He looks over at his girlfriend and says hi, and then like continues on having like this weird ass conversation. And he starts hitting his head up against the wall. And then when he wakes up the next morning, he claims he doesn't remember it, but it's caught on tape. And like that doesn't. I don't think that's real. Like that's you being
Right.
an
A lot of
actor.
stuff is faked. A lot of stuff
Yeah,
is, I
but
think,
like
mental disorder, disability related stuff. Like,
and like I've seen things like where there'll be a priest to come like cleanse them and everything,
mhm.
and they start like crying, and that's just that energy who's like attached to you, trying to hold on to you, and it's like letting go, and so it's like you're crying because it's like you're in the middle of getting pulled, pretty much, and so it's like emotionally a tug of war and mentally a tug of war, and so you start crying. But like I said, nothing like the movies where you'll start bending over, turn your head, talking all this demonic stuff. No, I don't believe that's true.
well, I mean, exorcisms do happen, and like
Mhm.
apparently, like crazy stuff does happen. I didn't like get a whole lot of information on what I was reading earlier, but about cases like there's a girl, her name was Annalise Mitchell. And then apparently there was a movie made that was based about her, but like it was called, I think, The Exorcism of Emily Rose
Mhm.
or something. But it's about Annalise Mitchell who um well, she like when she was a kid she started having seizures and stuff like that. And like when you have a seizure, how that looks. But so she was like diagnosed with epilepsy. Then throughout the years, like as she was growing up and stuff, she was having um like she would see like demons and stuff like that when she would pray. And it just more and more stuff just kept happening, and then eventually it turned into like just lots of crazy things. And she was diagnosed with all this stuff and medicine was given, but nothing was working. So her parents started like she got several exorcisms done on her where she's like foaming at the mouth, like actually, and just like crazy stuff. Um and I don't know. I guess that's what was supposed to heal
You
her.
was she a kid?
Um I don't know how old she was when they started doing the exorcisms, but the signs of, like, her being possessed and stuff like that started when she was a kid.
With that
But they
being
took her to a
said,
lot of doctors over the years and stuff, and nothing happened, and it progressively got worse.
I mean, you have to think a kid's imagination is through the roof, especially when you add
Well, I don't
fear
think
and then
it wasn't an
imagination.
imagination thing when because she was, like, I mean, she was acting deranged, like, insane, like, it wasn't just like, "I see demons," like, it was like, I mean, something was wrong with her,
I
and,
mean, I guess
I
that could
mean
have to be one of those things where I'd have to see it to 100% believe it.
mhm.
And that, I mean, I'm all for getting proven wrong. So, Brody, if you ever get like a piece of an alien, come show me and I'll give you some credit for it. But until then, don't talk to me about it. But I mean, that's just
If
one of
I
those
have a
things where
piece of an
I'd have
alien, the government's gonna take me. Yeah, I'm just gonna disappear like that chick in the water tank because the government's gonna shut me up.
Bro,
I'll be gone if I find an alien.
She died of malnutrition and dehydration, in 1976. Um,
this
and
could
it
have
was
been a little tale, though.
it no, the 1976 was not that long ago. This is true things that happened, but it
Do
was
we
like
have
a,
photo documentation or video?
It's probably
there it
photos,
yeah, I
at
mean,
least.
All right, where's?
but
Let me see
there
those
oh
photos,
my
man.
gosh, there was like a 10-month span where she just continuously got exorcisms performed on her by her parent. Well, not her parents would bring in priests and stuff. And she it says she broke bones and ripped tendons in her knees from continually kneeling in prayer like all the time. And
Well,
she during the exorcism she would be restrained and stuff like that. And then she just slowly stopped eating and
as a
died.
kid, did you believe in the boogeyman under your bed or closet?
No,
I don't know.
Okay, well that's like a common thing, right? Like kids believe in the
Yeah.
boogeyman. It's like a common tale.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, just go. You're fine.
I can.
Yeah, go for it. I'll tell my story to chat and
No,
Casey.
no, it's fine.
But
Sure.
yes, go. So a comment like I loved hate watching scary movies. I love them more now, but like I always got scared as a kid. And the boogeyman's like a common tale. Like the boogeyman's under your bed. If you ever like go to put your feet down, he's gonna grab your feet and pull you under the bed, right? So obviously, as a kid, you're like scared, and that's why you don't get up in the middle of the night. If you even have to really use the bathroom, you're like, no, boogeyman's gonna get me. Or it's like, do you ever do the thing like you turn out the lights, but you have to like go up steps, so you like run up the steps and then like
I
quickly turn
still
around
do
you?
that. I still
So
do that.
those are all like same things. Now, okay, we're not like diagnosed with any like mental disabilities or anything. Like, imagine, because I think it's more like obviously mental health is a serious thing, and it's one of those things I don't think we're like the brain's so complicated. I don't think we're near of like comprehending like what people need. And someone who I think, which would like in the case is like if they're like some mental disability, no matter the level, on top of like a fear like that, will make them like really hardcore believe it and really like freak out and like uncontrollably. Like there's like I say I'm normal, but
Yeah.
I'm like crazy and weird, but like I'm not diagnosed with anything that I'm aware of. So I get scared of like the boogeyman tale or like running up the steps and turning around to see if anyone like a ghost is chasing me or
Mhm.
anything like that. But I imagine like someone who's like has a hardcore like messed up in the head believing that, and then they're gonna like do some like crazy stuff,
That's
if that
true.
makes sense.
Do you ever go downstairs, get a drink, and just start booking it upstairs?
That's
Wow,
what we were just talking about.
Oh,
way to just totally
Well,
miss what I said.
the way my house is, it's like everything's on the first floor and then we have a basement. So like basements are definitely scary sometimes. So I because they're so
I mean, I
dark.
think most kids
So
do
every
that.
time I come up the stairs, every time kids,
Yeah.
I am an adult
Okay,
and I
well.
still do that. I run so fast and I slam the door.
It's the only reason something hasn't gotten you yet, right?
Yeah. I outrun him every time.
Yep.
I outrun him every time.
It's that glowing orb. He's slowly coming to get you.
You're gonna turn
Okay,
around one day
I
and it's gonna be
really
boom.
I want Brody to see that
I
orb
want
so
to see
she
it.
will shut the hell up. Well, please, let's go see it one night because I
I
really
think we
want to prove to
should.
you
And
that.
if we see it, we're going to the damn light. And if I lose my damn head, well, this podcast is going to go famous and we're going to be handcuffed. So either you're going out with me or you're going to be attached to my headless corpse. So
The the news had the small podcaster goes on ghost hunt because he doesn't believe in ghosts
yeah.
and then gets
And I
beheaded.
hope that ghost takes my head now. So I'll be the head of the ghost. Actually, since
You
it's so
would
tragic,
probably
I'll
s-
become a
You'll
ghost.
see it.
I'll be the new ghost with the orb
But
going around
but the thing is, you
scaring
would
people.
set him.
Brody, are
You
you
would
there?
set him free. Would you
Yeah.
sacrifice yourself for him so he could finally get to the afterlife after all these years?
Now, if it's been all this time, how's he got no one else? Has no one else been
Yeah,
able, like going up
facts.
to touch the orb? They all
Because
run
no
away
one
like you?
else goes over to him. Everyone else runs away.
I don't
How do
believe
you
that.
know?
Cause I feel like someone would like.
Have you talked to
don't know.
everybody that's seen this orb?
No, but
All right, then you don't
I'm
know.
just saying, it was pretty scary.
I'm the type of person, if we do, and I go up to the orb, I'm just gonna like start freaking out, like ah, freak Casey
I
out.
would be so pissed.
I will start crying. I promise I'll start crying.
Just like randomly like throw myself. I'll take the
Oh my
injury for it
gosh.
just for the laugh. It'll
Nah,
be
we
Oh,
so
need
funny.
we need
also-
some.
Hang on. To prove my point a little bit more that it is real, my aunt, when she was in high school, she went to go see it with her friends one night, and they sat there for a while. Nothing happened.
How
So
bright
they
is this
decided to
light? Is it like really bright? Okay.
It's bright. I mean, not blinding, but I didn't see it up close. But it was bright
I
enough that
thought
I
it
could
was right in
see
your
it.
face, though.
Yeah, he said it was like right next to you.
Yeah, you said it was right outside the door.
Oh, facts, it was.
All right, so the story
it's
seems like
bright. It's just
going two
bright.
different ways,
Like
man.
you can stare at it bright, or like sun bright. Like you can't stare at it bright.
Well, I can probably tell you that I did not stare at it for that long. I went, ah! And then I screamed, and then we drove away. So that's about that. I mean, it's not like a blinding light, but it's like a white light. But, anyways, what I was going to say is that my aunt went to go see it with her friends in high school, and nothing happened after a while being there. So they decided to walk down the train tracks. So my aunt's back here. She's really, really scared. So she's not super far from the car. Like, let's say the car's here. She's about right here. Her friend, though, is all the way down here. So they decided to turn around and go back to the car. So the friend, they start walking. The friend starts walking this way towards my aunt. And then the light, like the orb, like popped up in between them. So they just were like screaming and stuff because she was like, what to do? And my aunt like ran to go get in the car. And then it went away after a few seconds. But it did like pop up right in between them.
So, do you want to hear some real ghost stories, Birdie?
It's just a big ass lightning bug. That's why I guess.
Probably. You want to hear a real ghost story, though?
I don't believe in ghosts, so I don't think it is real.
So,
Brody, you're so
there was.
frustrating.
So, when I went ghost hunting, there was a.
Prove me wrong. We're gonna go when it's not freezing ass cold, and I'm gonna freeze
I'm
myself
down.
outside. We're gonna go see this damn ghost, this damn
Okay.
light.
Down.
I'm gonna take my goddamn phone. I'm gonna record it, and we're gonna vlog. I'm
Just
gonna live
because of
stream.
you-
Hey, it's Broku from the family bathroom here with what's his name, Casey? What's the
Who?
what's
Kiki
the
Waka,
headless?
whatever.
No,
Kika
no, this headless lamp ghost dude.
Oh, I don't know his name. He's
Captain
just a-
George. We'll call him Captain
just a-
George. That sounds like a.
We're here with the
But-
headless lamp ghost here. Headless lamp ghost. Why are you out here? Can you tell me why?
Can we interview you
Yeah.
real quick?
Wait,
You want to
but
become famous? Get more visitors, Mr. Ghost? Like help
Brody,
us out.
I just know what would happen is that we would go, and just
Nothing
because
would
you're
happen.
there,
Nothing's
nothing
gonna
would happen. And then Brody would never shut the fuck up about it and be like, "Oh, we went. There's no ghosts. Ghosts aren't real.
That
I
is
saw it.
True.
I
True.
saw the ghost.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
real."
All right,
He's
so I have a
real.
question. Um,
What?
for you as like skeptic, Birdie.
Sure.
So when in the theater, most theaters have like a balcony,
Yeah.
um, like 2 stories. So we put a motion sensor, like what are like music boxes. So when someone walks by, you'll hear the music playing, whatever.
That's terrifying.
No
Sorry.
one, no one is up there. Absolutely no one. He comes down after placing it up there. He comes back down. No one's up there. We are all looking at there, and all of a sudden the music box starts playing. How
See,
do you?
this whole thing with your that one experience, it's hard.
Mhm.
Like again, if I knew all the answers, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in. Same thing
I'm
like
just
magician.
saying,
But
like, how
because you're
if
with
you're a skeptic,
because
how do
you're
you
with
explain
ghost
that?
hunters, right? Like you're with the actual ghost hunters and they have their own TV
Mhm.
show. Do you believe their episodes are real?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm one
Like
who
there, I will give you like Ghost Adventures is very staged. You can just tell by the reactions and all of that. But Ghost Hunters, if you actually watch a show, they will debunk, which means like to prove that it's not real. They will go out of their way for every little piece of evidence that they have to show that it's real. They will go and reenact it. They will try to redo it. They will try to put
right.
lighting. They will everything they can to prove that it actually happened. And there's times where they're like, it's debunked. It wasn't real, and this is why.
How well, I guess the motion sensor thing would have to be really sensitive to pick up a ghost. What if like a piece of dust, like what if the air turned on and a
I
piece of
mean, there's
dust?
no air. They turn everything off.
There's always air. My question to you is: you ever been in the arcade, our arcade, and the you hear the air dryer go off randomly,
Hmm.
but there's no air moving. There's no one in there, but the air dryer just randomly goes off.
It's a ghost that
It's
had to go
Kiki
potty
Waka.
and then he
It's
So
woke
I
up.
Kiki
mean, like,
Waka.
there's
Kiki
times at
Waka
golf
is a
where no
wizard
one's on the
from Florida.
course, and that one's more explainable due to wind because we're outside. But it's like one of the sound triggers, and it's like there's gold up in there. Here I hear playoff, and there's like no one there. It's like so
Then that's
there's
wind.
stuff like that. Like again, what explains like the hand blower going off because that's like motion triggered, but there's no one in there and there's no air like the fans or anything like going off, but that thing just randomly goes off.
All right, and so
Rats,
No, I'm not
mice.
saying Ghost Hunters is fake. I'm just saying I don't trust TV show any ghost hunting TV show,
Let's
especially when they're
go.
so good and when they're that famous. They really know what they're doing. So like, I'm
I
not
want to
saying they
go
faked
with.
it. I'm just saying I wasn't there, right? And that's another thing, and you were. So
How
like,
much
I'm
does it
just
cost to go do that? Because we need to
it was
take
like a
Birdie. I want to
hundred
see.
something dollars. It was like 119, but that's with like a meet and greet and a the actual tour. But there was also the same spot where I felt dizzy and all of that. Brian from Ghost Hunters, he ended up getting scratched on the neck. You can see it's fresh, it's all red, it's still like it's not like that purpley like after you scratch it, oh it's done, it didn't go back. It was like fresh red.
Mhm.
And so we asked the recorder was like, are you the one who scratched Brian? And clear as day you hear like that sarcastic like yeah. But he didn't say the yeah, it was kind of just like that little sarcastic ass laugh.
That's
like,
so scary.
if you're committed to the bit, which obviously they're at this
He
level,
might have just
they
gone.
are like. Well, I'm not even saying like he did it, but like if you're committed, like you're not gonna half-ass it. Like you're not gonna like fake something. And when they're that good, like same thing with magic tricks, right? You know, do you believe in magic or do you know it's fake or like it's
I know
staged?
it's fake.
So like I'm one of those like if I was smart enough to like know how they did every trick, again, I wouldn't be here. I'd be some crazy rich person on a show.
Then then
Like
why
I
aren't
can't
all of
prove
these?
magic tricks are necessarily fake, but you know they are fake. And then yeah.
I mean, you can prove it because a lot of the magicians, like I know I've went to shows for a magic show. I think it was one of my birthday presents when I was like 10 years old or something because I used to be into magic. and I think it was called The Illusion. Um, and they did a bunch of magic stuff. And after the show, they even showed us. And
Right. My point was like I'm
so,
personally not
hold on.
smart enough to know how to prove
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they
yeah.
did it, but you can
So
prove it.
why aren't all of these older ghost hunters coming out and saying this is fake? Look, this is how we do it, and all of this. Like, there's nothing of that. Where if you look at like magicians after they retire, that some of them will go on like social media and say, you know what, this is how you do tricks, and it. Why are there
Well, I
no?
think
Yeah, this is fake.
I think if you look up, there probably are some like ghost hunting people that come
Hmm.
out and like say they, embellish stuff necessarily. And also it's one of those like that'd be a really like I don't want to say dick move, but probably like a really dick move. It's like, oh, I'm no longer
Mhm.
doing this. I'm just gonna fuck over all the other people.
Everyone
So it's
else, yeah.
Same thing,
stupid.
like there's you believe that the government's hiding a lot of information, right? Or no?
Yeah.
How is no one, everyone in government, like ever come out and like spilled any secrets?
They're sworn to secrecy, and that's why people die,
But
Brody.
Right, but if you're
ghost
They
gonna
get
hunters,
die,
killed.
anyway, like at that point, what do you have to lose, right?
like I
Like
know,
Donald Trump's one of those people. Like I can see him just like saying "f it." Like he's like a president out of all the presidents because he's just crazy and says what he wants. Like I can see him like one day just like throwing caution to the wind and just like uh doing it. But I don't necessarily think he will. But I could see him do it. But
Well,
like
people have I mean, I can't give a specific example because I don't exactly know everything, but, there have been people that have come out and been talked about, government involvement in, sex trafficking and stuff like that, and
mhm.
those people always end up dead because they committed suicide.
Right, they cover it up.
Exactly, that's what I'm
That
saying,
happens all
like,
the time in other countries. People just
that's what I'm saying,
disappear.
people
so Brody,
die.
don't go searching for aliens.
I'm just telling you, if I disappear, it's because I found something out I shouldn't have.
If Brody kills himself, should I say, you'll die one day, no
Right,
matter what.
that's true.
If you kill yourself, you found something you weren't
If it's
supposed
in
to.
like a too convenient of a way, it's something it's not as it appears. And now, because the FBI watches everything and hears everything through your phone, that you two are now aware
Hey
of it
man,
may be
later.
Yeah,
outside
my
interference, and you need to
FBI
watch
agent in my
yourselves.
phone.
Yo,
So
I love watching the TikToks of like what the FBI agents see when they're looking through my phone. It's just like that girl like chomping on some like Cheetos and
Mhm.
it's just like, I mean, that's true. That's what my FBI agent sees.
like I would say if you went through that experience, Josh, and it wasn't with ghost hunters, it was just like no one else knew about it, and it was you and a group of friends, and they all experienced the same thing. I'd be more inclined to believe it. But because
All
Ghost
right,
Hunters was there, and like again, they're on A&E.
they
That's
didn't
like
even.
nationally publicized. Like they're cream of the crop, I guess, or
All
like one
right,
of the top shows. This is what they do. So
but
good
it's
for a
not like they
living.
were using their equipment. We used RTLs, which they aren't famous. It's not like they travel around the world. They don't have money like that. They literally buy what they need and go around Virginia.
Like I
If it
said,
was
if they know
some
what
big
they're doing,
company,
you can like do whatever you like. You would
okay,
know how to do it.
Mhm.
If I
I
like
don't
again, if you're good at something, again, why is it like $120? Where'd that go to? Did they get any profit?
who?
Ghost Hunters.
I don't know. It's not like I didn't ask. Do y'all get profit from my
I'm
money
sure they were
industry?
paid, right? It's a job for them, essentially, right?
Could have been for RTL. Could have been for the renting out the museum.
Possibly. That's something we don't know. I think they got paid.
All right. Well, after this, we'll get Lexi in here to validate some stories. And
Mhm.
like there were some things that she went by herself where I wasn't there with her, so she can tell some stories. But if you don't believe in ghosts, you're tripping, dog.
I mean, That's like, okay, I don't know.
Brody,
I
we
just
will go. We will go
things are
fucking
too
ghost
like
hunting,
explainable. Like every little noise you
dude.
hear, like okay, it could be a mouse. Like there's mice in my attic. I hear little scurries and little scratchings. I don't think it's a
Oh,
ghost.
that's Kiki Waka.
Like, do you think it was a ghost that knocked
Kikakova.
that thing in the living room over? Do you think it was the
Which
ghost
one?
that you contacted?
I have no idea, but that shit was so scary.
Because random stuff just crashes and breaks all the time. It's just like that's just physics and nature, like stuff giving out. It happened. Like same with technology. Like randomly, technology would just poop to bed. It just dies out. The strength of like a chair, a desk, a table, like it just gives out, and random stuff happens. It like for all like Baby Yoda could
But
just
it
fall
happened
over
at
randomly on camera one day, and it's like, oh, that's probably it has to be a ghost, right? Now it's just like
but
shit
but
happens
it
randomly,
happened
right?
but it happened at 3 in the morning, which is the devil's hour.
Okay, and if it happened at like 8 o'clock, would it still be on a ghost?
Yeah. I, I don't
Telling
know.
you, we're gonna go do some scary stuff. Casey's gonna
We're
be the
gonna.
first one to freak out at the first thing. More stuff
Brody's
happens.
gonna.
Josh is gonna
All right.
freak out next, and I'm gonna be
Nah,
the
nah,
last
nah,
one
nah, nah.
standing.
Listen. This is how this shit's gonna go. Casey cries, screams, goes to the car. Brody, that was easily explainable. It was that pebble, and there was a gust of wind, and then there's me, who just gets pissed off at Brody, and we start arguing.
Yeah,
Y'all are gonna be
probably.
arguing, and then the light's gonna pop up in front of my face, and y'all are gonna be facing the other way, and I'm gonna be like, guys, 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 and
Not
then you
now,
guys are
Mr.
gonna be
Ghost.
screaming,
We're proving a
and you're
point
not,
here.
you're not
We're
gonna
fucking
see it.
fighting.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, honestly, there could be a ghost, right? Like a physical ghost, a human person in ghost form, staring at Brody, like doing
Y'all
whatever, and
got a
Brody would be like,
projector
Yeah.
over there, right?
This is explainable. It's actually
There's.
just the way that the moon is shining and the reflection of that little rock right there. And also,
You would.
I mean, I'll try and videotape it and get a picture, but like, if it's not
uh,
provable, then I don't know.
okay.
You get
Alrighty,
your
well.
ghost. I'm gonna find me my alien.
All right.
I will be
Deal.
a part of that mission as well. I want to
I
find an
won't.
alien.
Well, no. Matter of fact, I will. Just I'm gonna be. It's gonna be reverse roles. I'm gonna be like
So, do you
a
believe in any
good
of the
guy.
UFO like weird space things? Any of like the weird like outside of this Earth,
Wow.
like weird rocks or like any of that weird stuff is like nothing we've ever seen before, and like the weird pictures of like that's not an asteroid or anything. Like, what could that be? It's not space debris. It's not like the size of a normal asteroid. Like, do you believe in any of that?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't educate myself enough to say yes or no.
There's
Um,
so much
the
stuff to
only
educate
thing,
yourself on with
the
aliens, though. There's so
only
much
the
proof.
shut up. The only other thing I have seen about aliens is pictures, like stupid ass TV shows that can do the same thing that they do with ghosts, make that shit up. So I don't know. I really don't.
There's
Someone
I'm
can easily just go get a lawnmower and cut that shit down. There's easily someone who can go like chip out some
I just think it's
with
wild. Like, I'm
there's so much evidence of
see like all right,
aliens.
see
Casey's
Brody.
more like I can understand her if she believes in both, but since you like believe in ghosts but you don't believe in aliens, I just find that whack.
I do I
Yeah,
do
that's
believe
so
in aliens.
weird.
I do believe in aliens. The small little fucking bacterias on like Mars.
No, it's
How
like
can
No
you
fucking
what's the
believe?
reason.
biggest alien thing you
No,
think exists out there? Like no
I
smaller
don't
than like a something you need
I
like a
don't know.
telescope to see.
I just
I don't know.
how can you believe that we don't know anything about the universe? Like,
And
how can
that's
you
the thing.
believe that there's nothing else?
How am I supposed to go ahead and make something up in my
But there
head
is
that we have
evidence of
no idea?
stuff.
There's evidence of ghosts. Does that make Brody believe?
I'm just saying, like, you have to educate yourself on that. There's so much evidence.
All I'm saying, there's a lot of evidence of ghosts.
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like,
All right, all I'm
there is
saying
a
is
lot
Brody
of.
doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in aliens.
Okay, all right, whatever.
Oh, I
I
think
ain't-
you can say there's evidence for both, and why factually you can't necessarily like 100% prove either one. I'm more inclined to believe about aliens than I am about
Me
ghosts.
too. Me too.
Whereas Josh is like, I don't know. You think there's for sure ghosts, but not
but no
There's
one
for
aliens.
sure
else in
aliens.
the
There's
universe.
for sure
But
aliens.
aliens, big like you can physically see with your eye, not no microorganism.
I'm
You need a
not.
microscope
All
to
right,
see.
look. I don't think there's some fucking green goblin in space trying to
Okay,
take
that's
over our Earth.
that's like a sci-fi fantasy
All
thing
right,
that we've
then
just
what kind of aliens are we talking about?
It's a thing
it
you
could
don't
be
know.
anything. It could
You seen
be
War of the
like
Worlds? It could be giant things. It could be small like
it could
tentacle
be little
things. Like you don't know. It could be
squirrels for all we
gelatinous
know.
things. You've seen Arrival?
Yeah.
That's just like a bunch of like weird like that movie makes no goddamn sense. Like you don't know how aliens communicate.
All right, look,
We don't know how aliens communicate.
look. We'll
Go
we'll
watch
go
Arrival. It's a good movie,
investigate.
by the way. Shout out
We'll go
Arrival.
we'll go investigate some ghosts and
Okay.
some aliens. I will partake in both.
Okay.
But until then,
That's the thing.
nothing.
I can't
Sorry.
get to Area 51 quicker than I can get on a
Yeah.
railroad track and go see a glowing a bug flying around.
Oh my
In case
god,
you get
it's not a
scared of.
bug. It's this big, bro. It's not a bug.
All right, chat.
It's an orb.
One of these days, again, when it's not freezing ass cold, January and February, since this is about an hour's drive away, we're going to go out. If I can have internet good, I will live stream it from my phone, or at least I'll record it.
Oh,
Right?
there's no
Oh, of
service.
course, there's not. Okay, so I will videotape it
Of
on my
course.
phone. Okay, and I'll make sure it's 100% battery. We'll give it some time. Right? Spend a couple hours until we're like bored, dead ass out of our mind, or if the light shows up, and we'll interact our whole experience, and then we can detail our story on the next podcast that we come up.
Okay. Sounds good to me. We'll
It
do
sounds really fun.
All right.
Well,
I think
do you
that's
guys
it.
have any other ghost points or stories that need to be discussed?
Go watch the Conjuring movies. They're based on real stories. The Warrens are famous like paranormal activity hunters.
Oh, The Conjuring.
Obviously the movies are embellished, but like the Annabelle doll, it's in the movie, and then the spin-off movies. They're coming out with a third one this year. Like
Really?
they're like really probably the most famous like family, like paranormal investigating family. And if any like I believe, and they're probably like the most well known and like believable like they've done and stuff. So, but yeah, those are really good movies, and it's on topic, and I gotta shout out movies. So go watch the Conjuring movies because they're really good and scary. Yep.
Okay.
Any shout
Well,
outs? Anyone need shout outs?
Yes.
Get
Link's
your
been
daily
popping up
plug
one
in.
at a time, maybe once or twice in the chat. But as always, guys, if you want to help support the channel, please hit that follow button or subscribe if you're feeling extra generous. I go live a couple times a week. Podcast goes live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live next week in some shape or form, and it's a weekly thing. If you ever miss any episode, want to go back, fact check us, or watch any other previous episode, or go up on the YouTube channel. Josh, I need to talk to you real quick after this. Before I forget about
All right.
some with the YouTube channel. But
All
yeah,
right.
it's just the Family Bathroom on YouTube. It's our 10th episode. Already previous 9 are up on the channel. So go check them out. Give some support. Again, guys, please hit a follow, subscribe if you want to see me play games with Josh and other people sometimes. And if you want any cool merch, I don't have any on me except my awesome phone case. I have iPhone case and also Samsung Galaxy case and a bunch of other stuff. It's streamlabs.com/merch/broku _ and also Josh has Crazy Still merch. Streamlabs.com/merch/crazy still. Spell it the same way. The template, his name is on the template. And as always, guys, is there anything you want to shout out?
Ooh, yeah. Go follow me on Twitch. Crazy Still, just like on the template. Big shout out to Lexi for her cup making. She's made this one, and she's also made one for Birdie. So definitely should go check out that. I don't know. I think it's on Etsy. It's like Bottoms Up World or something. Definitely should
Bottoms
go
up,
check that
bottoms
out.
up.
And if
Throw them hands up.
If you have any questions, you can whisper me at Crazy Still or go on one of my social medias. If you go to my channel, you can look that up and message me on my my social medias.
Cool, Casey. Any shout outs?
Follow me on Instagram. It's the name right there.
At Casey Frosty on Instagram. As always, guys, again, appreciate the support. Appreciate you being here talking to us about ghosts and aliens. Do you believe? Don't believe? If you're watching this on YouTube, write a comment. Let us know if you have any experiences. If you believe in aliens or ghosts. If you don't believe in aliens and ghosts, like myself here, be curious to know what the public thinks. So without any more delay, guys, thanks for watching. And from our bathroom to yours, I hope everyone has a great night.